All right, recording has started.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new school year, reporting year for the Office of Special Education Services. I am Carolyn Bostic. I'm your team lead. We have our vendor with us joining us this morning to talk about the changes within the software, so that everyone would be informed of the changes that will impact their reporting for the 23-24 reporting year. So we're going to talk about closing out the 22-23 data collection and reporting year, the determination status, give you an update on the Indicator 8 reporting, Indicator 14, the MOE CEIS report, and then we'll turn it over to our guest presenters from Enrich, and we'll close out with announcements and questions. Okay. Just a reminder, you should have submitted your Indicator 7 report as of June 30th. We're working on those to get it out to you. So you should have those coming up in the next couple of weeks, where we'll reach out for clarifications on your report. And then we'll send your final reports back to you, and with follow-up instructions on changes within your data, so that you could get those responses back to our office. Table 5 was due July 14th by the Excel spreadsheets. And please, if you've requested an extension and have not submitted, before you submit that report to us, check all of the tabs for red errors. We have discovered that on one of the tabs, there is an issue, but if we need to contact you for corrections, then Yolanda will reach out to those impacted districts for that particular issue. Table 4 indicators 11 and 12 are due July 28th. As always, if you are having, I'm getting some back feed. Okay. Those reports are due July 28th. If you are having issues within the Enrich system, please don't forget to submit that ticket to support and CC me on that, just so that I'm aware of what's going on with your submission, or anything that would prevent you from submitting your report to our office in a timely manner. As always, with these particular reports, we will have a clarification period where we're reaching out to you as a final means of making sure that your data is actually accurate before we prepare them for distribution for the determinations or profiles, or for whatever reasons that data collection will be used for. Okay. Upon completion of your reports, we will place a final copy in ADT for your records. Okay. We want to talk a little bit about the determination changes. The profiles, as you know, were uploaded onto ADT on May 15th and posted to the website on June 1st. We decided this year to do the determinations twofold. So we should have those determinations uploaded in ADT for you by July 24th. In that sample that you will receive, you will have the determinations in the old manner, as well as in the proposed manner. But the proposed manner is what will be posted on the website for comparison purposes. And I believe Elizabeth Moore will be contacting districts with next steps that are for those districts that are needs assistance, needs intervention. They will be in touch with those districts for next steps and follow up. We will give you guys a month to review your determinations and ask questions, with the understanding that the final determinations will be posted on the website August 31st. Just as a reminder, if you have any questions, please type those questions in the chat and we will answer them as we progress through this PowerPoint. Okay. Indicator 8. We are actually going to go back to the sampling model for the indicator 8, and that's just to make it easier and more seamless for reporting purposes. So all students, all districts will receive the survey for the 22-23 reporting year, and only the impact, I'm sorry, everyone will still receive the surveys at the conclusion of annuals or initials, but only the districts that will be listed in the next slide will actually be required to submit or will be a part of the 23-24 collection and reporting to OSEP for the SPP APR report. And these will be the focus districts. So if your district appears, this when in June, those will be the districts that we follow up with to send postcards to as a reminder to complete the survey for the 23-24 school year. The surveys will be available in English and in Spanish, and all districts can still submit the information. If you have data that is submitted for the 23-24 school year, you will still receive that information at the conclusion of the school year. The survey closes June 30th, and May 6th is when we're looking for districts, the impacted districts, the listed districts, I'm sorry, to submit their data to us for indicator 8. Okay, so for the 23-24 school year, these are the districts that will be required to submit their indicator 8 data in May. And that's Anderson 1, Anderson 3, Anderson 5, Beaufort, Berkeley, Charter at Erskine, Dillon 3, Dillon 4, Greenwood 52, Limestone Charter, Richland 2, Spartanburg 1, Spartanburg 6, and York 4. The districts for the 24-25 school year, we will list those within the next couple of months. We are basically aligning the indicator 8 with the monitoring schedule. So if you pay attention, these districts that are listed for the indicator 8 survey are also the districts that are monitored, that will be monitored during this school year. Okay. The indicator 14 survey, just wanted to just remind you that those districts that decided to do the opt-in as a means of increasing their response rate, the formula is the not applicable, which is the total surveyed, divided by the total count in your source file. If you have duplicates that are highlighted on your list that's in ADT that's uploaded every Monday, please contact me to resolve those duplicates. Parents have received postcards to complete the survey. So in the event that you reach out to your parents and they've completed the survey, just tell them that, you thank them for completing the surveys. If they get a duplicate that, we've redistributed the postcards because they had the incorrect zip codes on them. So some surveys may have been completed already, but in the event that you contact them and they notate that they've already completed the surveys, just document that in your records. And if you have any questions about it, you could always double check that in your Monday distribution that you receive from our office by ADT. As a reminder, your master list with the survey ID numbers were uploaded into ADT on June 16th. if you elected to be an opt-in district. So that's where you can find the source file with the survey IDs in there. And we wanted to give you the survey links again, so that just as a quick reference for you to click on and access the sites to complete the surveys. Table 8, MOECEIS, just wanted to review some of the changes in this particular report for this reporting year. If you elect to voluntarily set aside 15% of your funds, then your count for students, then you should have students listed. You can't say that you're going to voluntarily set aside 15% and then have no students to provide services to. And if you don't have any students, then your voluntary amount should be 0. Okay. So the two should coincide. Reporting CEIS students, it works hand in hand. Just a reminder that if you use IDEA funds to serve students, then you must have money set aside to provide services for those students. You can't have data in one and not the other. Otherwise, both columns D2 and D3 in the Excel spreadsheet should be 0. Okay. We do have to start reporting students that receive services under CCEIS, which is your required allocation. So for those districts who were required to set aside funds for CCEIS or significant disproportionality, we are now required to report the number of students that you are providing services to. So we just included a tab in the Excel spreadsheet for you to provide those totals to us. Okay. And at this time, if they're on the call, we're going to turn it over to Frontline so that they could talk about the 2023-24 state reporting changes within the Enrich system.
Thank you, Carolyn. This is Lori. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay, Carolyn?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we just wanted to introduce you to the state reporting for 2023-24. If you could advance slide, please. There's going to be 2 versions of the report. So this is a big difference in that there's going to be a district version and a state version. The reports have been updated and there's been some changes to some of the logic as well as the fields. And some of the changes are that they have updated demographic and enrollment fields. The order is now improved. As we, made changes to the reports before, we could only add fields in certain locations at the end, without changing the logic. So now by redoing all the reports, we've been able to update all of them for consistency between fields, between the field names and the order. We've also had logic updates due to some federal reporting updates and OSIS updates and just enhanced report configurations. So we're real excited about these. Currently for indicator 7, 11, 12, child count, and table 4, we have the district version of the report available to you on the hub. It's a one-time download. After you've downloaded it, it'll be in your saved reports so that you don't have to download it again. If any changes need made to it, it automatically updates. So we're real excited about that. This district version can be used for monitoring your data at any point throughout the year and for validating your fields and making sure that everything's accurate. The state versions are going to be in the same location as you've always used them, but they'll have a slight wording change in the name so you can identify them. Once the state makes them available for visibility on the district end, I assume they will consider doing that after the 22-23 reports are completed so there's no confusion, but they'll alert you to that. So you'll submit those in the same way you have previously. For the district versions, You can run this report, as I said, throughout the year at any time so that you can watch those records that are coming up on approaching due dates and make sure that you have timely completion of them. You can also check for field validity and make sure that you don't have any missing or inaccurate data. So running it throughout the year will help you keep abreast of this. The district versions have the same logic and the same fields as you'll see on the state versions, but they also have some additional fields to help you with validating your data. So all of the state fields appear in the same order as they do on the state report, and they start with your demographic type data, your enrollment information, and then the specific report fields. There'll be a column to break from the state required fields to the district fields, and that column is labeled end of state fields. And then under each record entry in that column, it will say district validation fields on the right and have the arrows pointing. So all of those fields following this break column will not be on the state report when you submit it. They're there only to assist you in further checking your data, validating it, and understanding it to ensure that you have everything accurate. The fields in front of that are the ones that will appear on the state version of the report. Next slide. So to access this district report, you will want to, if you have, we're not one of the testing districts, since I've already done this, you'll want to make sure that you do the following steps. This first one is something that you're going to do on a regular basis regardless. And that is that you want to update the configuration under administration. So before going to the hub, you want to go under your administration side of Enrich, navigate to the under data collections, the SC special education, and then at the top, click Update Configuration. This is something you want to get in the habit of doing regularly before running reports. So you'll do this. If you ever get an error message or if the data doesn't render, go back and update configuration in case something wasn't applied. And this is regardless of what report you're running, even though the updates might pertain to a different report. Next slide. So once you've updated configuration, let's do that one-time download. Navigate from your home page to your Manage Reports and Notifications, and then go to Download from the Enrich Hub. Now, if you don't see Manage Reports and Notifications or Download from the Enrich Hub, you want to check your permissions and make sure that you have rights to those areas. So once you are on the hub, you simply want to find the State Collection Validation Report 2023. And once you have located that, click Download. Again, that's the State Collection Validation Report 2023. You download that, and then once you've done that, you don't have to do it again. It will be under your saved reports. So the next time you want to access this report, you don't have to go to the hub, go to your saved reports and find it. And it is the State Collection Validation Report 2023. Rather than search through all your saved reports that you may have, you can use the search feature to find it. I like to type in just 2023. That usually is pretty descriptive and takes me right to the report so that I can click on it and run it. So then once you've searched for and found it, or if you choose to look through all of your reports, just go to that State Collection Validation Report 2023, click on it to run it. And next slide. When you run the report, you're going to get 3 filters that you can apply. Right now, this report is set to the 2023-2024 report year. So you want to make that selection. Next, you choose the report. In this drop-down, it lists all the different state reports. So you can check whichever one you want to look at. And then you can select Show Errors Only, yes or no. Now, I would recommend under the Show Errors Only that, periodically you ensure you put no, so you see the full report, all the records, so that you can see any that have approaching deadlines, and items that need to be completed. Now, when you're just wanting to clean up any errors, any missing fields, in regards to like report type or um, something like that, you may choose just to look at those errors and have a day when you're working on those. So you may then want to select that as yes. Either way, you can make your selection and then click Run Report. I like to then export the report once it's been generated into the Excel workbooks so that you can apply filters and do other things to review your data. Remember that all the extra fields after the state reports are just for your validation and to assist you in interpreting and reviewing your data. You may not need to access all of those, but they may in certain instances be very relevant. Now, on your district version of the report, you will have more records than you will have on several of the state versions of the report. And that's because records that are in process that aren't yet completed, they don't need to be reported to the state until they are completed. So once you've added all the data elements to complete those records, they'll be on the report when it's submitted to the state. But for your use, to make sure that you do complete them on time, those in process records will generate. So you'll have more fields and more records on many of your district reports. We will be reviewing each of those district reports in more detail later on and providing more direction on how to review them, interpret them, and check the data that's on them. So prior to that, please do take a look at them and familiarize yourself a little bit with them, and you can start interpreting some of the data and reviewing it, but we will give you more support in understanding them and reviewing them for accuracy as the year progresses. For your state version, if you could back up one slide, for your state version of the reports, as I said, they will be the same as you've had, previous years. You navigate under administration. Can you back up one slide, please? I'm not seeing the right slide, but the state versions, as I said, they're just a little bit smaller in that they have a few less records, not the in-process ones. And they also don't have all the extra fields that are for districts to help validate and monitor their data. They are going to be listed as visible to you at such time as the state, is ready for you to start having access to them. And they will have um, in their report name the 2023-24 think it's at the end of the name of the report. So you can use those. Again, we'll go through them. Yeah, it'll be like indicator 12, 2023/24. And then they'll have in front of it whatever the current report year is, which will also be 23/24. But you'll access them just the way you always have. There's no difference with that, except they are going to be new reports. The old ones are going to be retired, and these will be made accessible to you when appropriate. So are there any questions? This is just an overview. As I said, we will go into more detail on each individual report throughout the year, but any initial questions? Carolyn, is there anything in chat that we need to review? Okay, well, that's all I had. I hope you take a look. You will see some other report years when you go to the district version of the report. We will be adding those later. Remember, there is some differences in logic from previous years due to federal and state updates. So they're not, if you compare them to what you submitted, it's apples and oranges. So, and just be aware of that. But currently the 23-24 reports are what's available in the district file, and then we'll add the other ones as we move forward. for previous history if you happen to want to look back. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Carolyn, anything else that I can assist with or provide information on?
Okay, Carolyn seems to be a bit frozen right now, Lori, but we do have two
Oh.
questions in the chat. We have one that says, do we start using this for upcoming indicator 11 and 12 and table 4? Or will it be for the reports moving forward? That's the first question.
This will be for the reports moving forward in the 2023 to 24 school year. Currently, there are some differences in logic that as well as the field layout and other things for the reports that are being submitted in July. You certainly, if and when they get the logic, I'm not quite sure the date for the 22-23 district logic on the hub report, when that will be available. If it were, you can always check if the data comes up. You can use it as an assistance in validating your reports for this year. However, there are logic differences between them. So it would be more for validating that you have fields populated and no blanks, that kind of thing, because the logic is a little different from what you're reporting this year to what you'll be next year. So these are intended for the 2023-24 year.
Thank you, Lori. And it looks like the second question is not really for you, Lori, but the PowerPoint presentation will be shared for the person who asked that earlier on. And as far as the download of the 23-24 data collection calendar, it is currently available via the website. And I'll be happy to share that link here as well. Do we have any other questions? And it looks like Carolyn is back, so I'm not sure if her mic is on yet.
I am back.
Okay, great.
Just as a reminder that we have our monthly data meetings on the third Thursday of every month at 10 o'clock. It will be the same link that you used to join this morning. If you please feel free to share that link with anyone who wants to attend. That is perfectly fine to forward the link to anyone that wants to attend. Under the guidance of our new director, Mr. Peter Coip, he has suggested that we change our previously pre-checks or data verification checks to systemic verification checks. So we are now referring to those as systemic verification checks for indicators 7, 11, and 12. And those dates are November 17th, February 16th, April 12th. We do encourage you to participate in those systemic verification checks as a means of making sure that your data is correct as we progress throughout the school year. We will implement a similar verification check for the Table 5 data maybe mid-year, just to kind of give you guys some insight as to how that report is going to look. The final report will still look the same as your Table 5 report. We'll probably give the results to you in a different format, but maybe December some time frame, midway through the year, we'll work on giving you guys a report that will be familiar to you to review prior to the end of the school year, just so that you'll know what we are going to report for your district for your Table 5 report. As always, please feel free to contact us if you have any questions about anything. I would encourage you to reach out to us sooner rather than later. We know that when dealing with technology, things tend to go wrong at the last minute. So definitely want to echo Lori and suggestion, just get out there and run those reports on a regular basis so that you're familiar with your data and what's going on within your district so that we could be proactive about any challenges that we might incur. We will not open the 23-24 reports until after the submissions of Table 4 and indicators 11 and 12. We want to make sure that the reporting year, the 22-23 reporting year is completely closed out before we open any new reports. So with that in mind, probably August 1st, or definitely by the August data monthly meetings, we should have all of the 22-23 reports closed out, and the 23-24 reports will be available for you to review. Joya, do we have any other questions in the chat?
Yes, one just was presented. Has there been a report developed in PowerSchool that LEAs can use to monitor the Table 5 data throughout the year, other than the IM report that is currently in there, or should we just use that one?
Yes, we strongly encourage you to use that incident management report that's in there. That's going to give you the closest insight to your data and the results that will be submitted to our office. We will work closely with Abine's office. Once she schedules her incident management training for the year, I will share that with you guys just so that you are getting the information firsthand. I do strongly encourage you, if you do not have a relationship with the person that's keying in your incident management data in PowerSchool, we strongly encourage you to build relationships, start partnering with them, because they will be the insight to the data that's in the system and the accuracy of it.
And
Next
Carolyn,
question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't know if it would be appropriate to mention about the indicator 11 report for this current year, the T and TEs, that they're there, so that you can just double check on them and verify them, but they will not have all the data fields because they do have those outcomes indicating that they were transfers that were in process at the time of the referral and evaluation. I've gotten a few questions about that, so I didn't know if this was a good time to kind of.
Yes, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and provide clarification on that.
Okay, great, thanks. Just had a couple questions recently. So as you are preparing your current years, the 22-23 indicator 11 report, remember it is on the older report format, that the transfers, the TEs that have come into your district where you have imported the referral from another district and then completed the evaluation, the outcome will show TE, and that tells the state that, if they need to verify or double check on them, the reason that these don't have the evaluation data is that the referral was brought over from another district. And so the evaluation was completed in the current district and its system doesn't link the two pieces together. But these meet the exclusion category as outlined by the federal government. So it's just for reporting purposes. The TE is there, the state can verify them, but you are not expected to have that evaluation data on the report because it's not going to tie those two elements together. So that's not an error. It's not something to be concerned about. That TE identifies why they don't have that evaluation date.
Just to be clear, if the evaluations are completed, we do want to give credit. So if they transfer and the evaluation is already completed before the transfer, the district that completed the evaluation will get the credit for the outcome.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. Now these are just for the ones where the referral was done in one district and the evaluation in another. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to put that out there because I've seen a few questions about it recently, and as you're reviewing your data, um, just to make sure to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. Joya, are there any additional questions?
There was an actual follow-up regarding table 5 and that transition for next year. They're wondering, is it going to be pulled directly from Power School next year and have no SPED Excel a spreadsheet due?
That is correct. We are going to complete the Table 5 data at the state level based on your incident management report data.
And also, is there a PowerPoint or guidance document about the new students? In other words, BabyNet or private school referrals, and having a son's ID and no longer being manually entered into Enrich. This was discussed in the spring at my Power School and my Power School person says it's been discussed, but she does not have clear guidance on how to proceed.
We have not been given any additional guidance on that particular process. I do know that the Power School folks have taken over, and the two directors, the director in our office and the director that's over the Power School, they are in communication and putting a plan in place on how to, with proper guidance on this. I do not have an estimated timeline as to when that guidance is coming out or when it will be distributed. I just know that they're working on it.
And I believe the next question is for Lori. Lori is pertaining to indicator 11's report type is blank. We follow the directions to designate the SCH, LEAs, or SEAs. The warnings are still present. What are the next steps that they should take?
If when you look at the report, you are seeing that the report type is still blank and you have gone ahead under your managed districts and schools and opened each school and checked to make sure you have, the SEA or LEA designated and saved, then recollected your report, because to register this change, you would need to recollect the report. So make sure that you've done that. If you are still having that issue, then you should put in a ticket to support. Make sure that in the subject header of the ticket that you put, the state report indicator 12 or whatever it is, so that it gets the highest priority in ensuring that that ticket is addressed.
So Lori, just for clarification, whenever they're submitting a ticket to support that pertains to state reporting, they should include in the header state reporting and the name of the indicator or the report, so that it gets high priority.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now that really helps the support team to put those to the top of the heap.
And just as a spinoff of that, to continue with Lori, we have blank report types, but they seem to be associated with schools were manually added, and help tickets have been submitted.
Okay. And again, there was a change. Remember, if you manually added schools in the past, you had to have a ticket put in order to designate the report type, but that was changed in an update earlier this year. So the districts have control of that, and you can actually go under administration and then go to under students, manage districts and reports, then click on the particular school that you added, and there's a field on there with a drop down where you designate the report type. And once you've done that, you click save. And then of course you would recollect the report and it will register that change. I don't know if there's time. Would you like me to show that in the sandbox?
Sure, we have time.
Okay.
You can take control of this, share your screen. And I do see a question in the chat as it pertains to manually entering your students into Power School. If your district has a process already where you can manually enter, where you can't enter those students, go ahead and do that. But if you do not have a clear plan in place for those students, go ahead and continue to manually enter them into Enrich as you previously had. So if your district is one of those districts who's fortunate enough to have a plan or process in place where they're already entering those students in Enrich, go ahead and continue. If not, then continue with your process of entering them into Enrich.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm in the sandbox, and when I click on administration, in order to put in the report type on a school if it is missing, under administration, once this loads, sorry, it's a little slow. It always is when you're demonstrating, right? Okay, under administration, slide down on the far left column where you see students, click on manage district and schools. And under this, you'll see a list of all of your schools in your district. And I, of course, have 2 districts. It makes it a little different. But here you can go to any one of the schools, just click on the school. If it's a power school, there's very limited fields that you can manipulate anything on once you do this. If it's a manually added school, all of the fields are open. But regardless, one field you can do is the report type that you see down near the bottom. And there's a drop down where you can click the school, LEA, or state level. Click on the appropriate selection and save. I would also note that if you have any that are like the graduated students group or Read to Succeed, anything that's a program and not a school, you want to have made sure you check exclude from reporting, this box down here. And that's for any of your summer programs, reading camps, graduation school, etc. So these 2 fields were added this previous year for all districts. And so you now have control that you can put in the report type, and with the addition of some programs that aren't really schools, also this exclude from reporting that you can check. So those are here. Once you put that in and save it, you want to go back to administration, go under your data collections to your SC special education, and there's that update configuration we talked about before that you want to do on a regular basis. But then you would just go back to your report and recollect your report, because if you just open up what you've already done or check on the warnings again, they're still going to be there until you recollect the report. So it updates it with that information of the report type that you just added. Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions? Joy, are we all caught up on the questions? Is there anything pending?
I'm not sure if this one came while Lori was speaking. She says she tried to make changes to the report type, but once she reran the report, it still shows up blank. I've already entered it to help desk. Sorry, it moved. I already entered the help desk, and the issue seems to be with our Head Start locations.
Okay.
I think that was just commentary. I'm not sure if there's an actual question from that.
Just for the recording process purposes, Joy, can you read that last question that came in? It was
more of a comment. It says I've tried to make changes to the report type, but once I rerun the report, it shows up blank. I've already entered the help desk ticket as well. Yet the issue seems to be with our Head Start locations.
I think yours is delayed. There's one that came in from Jenny G.
That one just came in. That one says, does anyone in the chat have a plan that they'd be willing to share on how to get those referrals into Power School? And I think she's speaking to a particular district. I believe that's Greenwood 50. I don't want to manually enter them into Enrich and then turn around and delete or merge their records once this is resolved. Thanks.
So that's Jenny reaching out or asking the powers that be in the district if anyone have any processes that they'd be willing to share on this particular process. And she could be reached at GASTG at gwd50.org. Okay, if there are no additional questions, that concludes our July monthly meeting. As we stated earlier, this meeting is being recorded and will be shared once it's been converted for YouTube. Let's see. And Ruth Lilly said that they do have a tentative process and will be moving forward on them next week. So. And Ruth Lilly is in Horry County.